Okay, so this build has two things going on. First thing, Geofri's Devotion, self-curse using Shackles of the Wretched. And the second piece is the Replica Loreweave. And then we mitigate it with these three flasks. They all trigger automatically, and it's 20% less elemental damage taken. Our max resist are 72. So in effect they are high 70s. So 20% passive nodes. So that's a 20% increase from that. Another 10. I think that's about it for this guy. Yeah. So, oh, there's 10 more over here. Spike concoction. There we go. Another 10%. So what that means is that it doesn't reduce damage by 20%. It actually reduces it by 20 times 1.4, so 28%. So yeah, you mitigate quite a bit of damage. We have 6.2k life, and our regen 1300 a second. This is probably, yeah, this guy is currently active. So without it, it should drop down a bit. Here we go. Real regen is 1000 a second. So heavy regen, okay damage. For links, we have elemental proliferation. Nice for mapping. Probably could be damaged, don't know of a good way of doing that. Penetration, less duration, slow projectiles, controlled destruction, and added fire. Not great, but it's fine. Then in the chest, Glacial Cascade, Consecrated Effects, Divergent Unleash support, Elemental Penetration, added fire, controlled destruction. Also very important, Charge Dash. So Charge Dash works with a few things. One, it's in here. It triggers Elemental Weakness with Hex Touch, and it also gives us Fortify. It's also channeling skill, so that works with Divergent Unleash. So that's pretty useful. Vitality, Steel Skin, Dash. Herald of Purity, more damage. Hydrosphere, just exposure. Herald of Ash with increased area of effect. So, it's fine. This is all life resist. It's nothing special. Oh, flask effect down here. So that mitigates a little bit more. So another 2% maybe. So yeah, it's a nice build. Alright, so let's take a look at what this looks like in the map. You can ignore some interesting mods. You don't do physical, right? So physical damage reduction is meaningless. -12 max player resistance. Yeah, it does nothing. So this is a bit of a freebie map. It's good at mapping. It is terrible at actually bossing. I figure I could do that with the 6-link, but not happening. Oh, that's a dead end. Anything going on here? Oh, that's a freebie chest. If we can get it. There we go. Alright, we're not going anywhere else. So yeah, single target is garbage, which you saw with me trying to pop this chest. It's yeah, it's kind of sad. But for mapping, just clearing content, white maps, yellow maps, works great. Don't really need a single target at all. Just a Geofri's Devotion does great. We have quite a bit of penetration. We have quite a bit of scaling from the physical, but it just dies out after that. And yeah, most of the time you don't have to worry too much. It's a 2-button build. 1 to trigger your charge dash, 1 to trigger your steel skin. It has a lot of defense, which is nice. I rarely need to even keep my hand on the keyboard. Anything I really care about? Logbooks. Alright. So, yes. We'll worry about that later. Let's go take a look at the boss and see where this build really falls short. Doom, 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 doom. So yeah, most of the build works great, but you know, you have no single target. I think Herald as a Ash does just too much. Right, sadness. Alright, so there we are. So now we actually start to worry. It helps if you hit. Mana is fine. On occasion you run out, but your regen tends to be fine. This boss seems to be decent enough. Sometimes, you know, when they have mechanics that makes it worse for you to be near it, it's really rough. So yeah, and this is monster level 78. It's not gonna go higher. This thing is getting a respect. But if you're in yellow maps, or you want something that can do lower maps fast, this is pretty good. It's just right now, that's not really a thing. Conquerors are a nightmare. They have so much health and they punish you so much for standing next to the so yeah. This guy is irritating too, just because you want to get close. But it's a lot of it's degen, and with 1000 health a second, that's pretty easy. I don't know what else. This is just kind of a boring build. Doesn't do much. What it does fine. And I don't really know of a good way to solve the shortcomings it has. Like, I mean, this does decent damage, but it's still mostly from elemental warding. Anyway, so Loreweave, pretty good when combined with these flasks. It really mitigates the penalty, and then it's a nice chest. Geofri's Devotion, fine, but trash in red maps. Shackles, shockingly good. So, new Pathfinder. You have a 20 of a. You remove an elemental ailment when you use a flask, which is awful. But this gives you at least 3 seconds of immunity after that. So that's pretty good. The corruption isn't necessary. I don't really use it. I don't think anything else is going on. Oh, we take Fizz as fire here. It just reduces total incoming damage. Uptime isn't 100%. It's pretty good, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 seconds down, and then like 6 seconds up while standing still. Oh, it's like 7 seconds up. It's fine. For bosses, it becomes an issue. There's no bleed mitigation. That's a problem. But you're immune to curses. You're immune to ailments most of the time. Like you probably have some flask triggering somewhere, and this takes care of poison. Yeah. If white and yellow maps become a thing, this is pretty good. But right now they're not. You can't progress your atlas, and that messes everything up. So this is getting respec. Not sure what else to say about it. It's cheap. I mean, this is trying to mitigate boss damage, mostly, with these the 6-link. It's not succeeding. So if you just buy a Loreweave, that's 72%, and a 6-socket Geofri's Devotion, and an uncorrupted Shackles, I mean, this is probably like 50, 60 C. And then you craft your flasks, and then you have a pretty solid starter build. But as it stands, like this 6-link does nothing. This 6-link doesn't do enough. So I wouldn't bother. But might use it again as a league start, assuming that the prophecy is easy to complete. Then it might be something to convert into and get to rep map, and then build up currency for a respec. But that's about the end of this build. And this is becoming Spectres next. So looking forward to that.